Hi there. This is the first of 3 sessions where we're going to dive into the detail behind the Enneagram types. Let's get it going. So on the screen, we're going to look at the Enneagram from the point of view of the different intelligence centers. So each presentation in this 3 presentation sequence is going to look at a particular intelligence type and focus in on that. For this first session, we're going to focus in on types 8, 9, and 1, which are part of the gut intelligence centers, starting with 8. So 8, active controller, powerful and direct. This type, people in this type, like being strong and in control, avoiding weakness and vulnerability, making things happen, making decisions. Typically, these people love control. They like being in charge and want to make things happen. So they're powerful and direct. Their passion is lust, and lust is more a case of get everything I can, and includes all kinds of desires. So they're clear about their own path. They know where they're going, and they want to get there. It is that lust for control that makes them who they are. So if we just check it out on the screen there, these people expand their influence by firmly taking charge of situations and by focusing on results and not holding back. You will have experienced these people. Often they are top leaders or top managers. They need the control and they actually never hold back. So you'll experience them a lot of working directly from the gut. One of the words for me when I'm listening to somebody, and it's quite easy to pick up if they're an 8, is the word that I pick up is hate. And I know that's a very strong word, but if somebody says, oh, I hate that, you can almost guarantee that they're an 8. So they're strong, take charge, decisive, self-assured, confrontational, frank, magnetic, and power-orientated. Know anybody like that? Have the motivation to be in control and be strong. So that's their motivation. And here's something I'm going to show you that's not out of IEQ 9, but is something that I've added to this presentation. And I want you to think about cartoon characters. And I'm using cartoon characters just because they're out there and they're easily to get hold of, and they're quite demonstrative of the concept. So as a cartoon character, who do you think would be representative of an 8? Give you a second there. Well, there you go. If you know the movie Brave, it's Merida. Takes control, is in charge, and makes things happen. Next couple of slides I'm going to flip through, and they're in your notes so that you can take a look at the detail. And then, once again, as I said, give me a shout, set up a cup of coffee, and we can discuss the detail if you want to get into it. So here are some of the factors behind the 8. I can do it. I am powerful. They have the worldview that the world is a tough and unjust place in which only the strong survive. So I'm tough, I'm strong, I will survive. And good things happen to people who are able to take control. I can protect the innocent. I make the world a more just place. Think of somebody in your life. You will recognize this. Their weakness, their blind spot is weakness and vulnerability. I think it's more vulnerability than anything else. They don't like being vulnerable. And that's the point at the top of that slide. Their vulnerabilities include being vulnerable itself, neglect, unfair treatment, feeling powerless, and dependence on others. And they value capacity, strength, truth, justice, and independence. And I have a friend like this, and honestly, tick, 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 tick. Okay. Moving on. The adaptive peacemaker, also one of the body intelligence centers, although a lot less intense, shall we say. They avoid conflict and look for comfort in everything that they do. So they promote harmony and peace, get input from others, create comfort and routines, and at most they want to avoid conflict. They are the peacemakers. From a passion point of view, these individuals or this type often self-forget, so they ignore their own needs and desires in their search for avoidance of conflict. This self-forgetting can lead to a lot of non-decision making, especially when that decision making could lead to conflict. They value being understood, accommodating, and accepting. They strive for peaceful existence and stability, preferring to avoid conflict. So they're easygoing, unassuming, patient, very accommodating, accepting of different points of view. They're fair and non-aggressive. Recognize anybody? And the motivation here is they have to keep the balance. This is where they find their sweet spot. They love keeping the balance between people. Cartoon character, Winnie the Pooh. Kind of what represents the adaptive peacemaker. Diving into a little bit more detail, I will create harmony as the world isn't a place where I can fully assert myself. People need to listen to one another and treat each other with respect. If all could do this, life would be peaceful. That's their worldview. Blind spots include conflict, disagreement, and being unsettled. A little bit more detail, and they value peace, harmony, and unity. However, they are vulnerable to conflict, neglect, and turmoil. So this is the 9. Recognize anybody in your life about a 9? I also have friends who are 9, and let me tell you, awesome people just can forget themselves sometimes. Number 1, also a gut intelligence source of intelligence here. So it's coming from the gut, and they love order, they love structure, and they like being in control. But different control from the 8. This control is more about using structure and order to control. So they're into doing the right thing, avoiding mistakes, and working towards self-improvement and self-control. Very much looking at rules and guidelines, and this is the right way to do it. And believe you me, if you don't like the right way to do it, you're going to hear from the 1. So passion here is anger, and this is not direct anger straight away. The anger builds through people not obeying the rules. So they set very high standards and ideals, and this leads the 1 to seeing a lot wrong in the world. And this unhappiness with the world, not the world or their team or their friends or whoever, it leads to a lot of dissatisfaction. That dissatisfaction becomes relentless in their own mind. And that relentless dissatisfaction leads to the anger of the 1. They're trying to make things right. They're trying to be good. And when they don't, this is when the anger surfaces. So, strong sense of right and wrong, believing that things are not worth doing if not done correctly. And I'm sure you've encountered these kind of people in your life. They have strong values and principles. They're careful, they're conscientious, they're perfectionist, they're idealizing. So the self-control, they have integrity, and they're often very critical. Motivation need to be good or right. Mary Poppins is quite representative of this, the desire to be right. The worldview, the world is imperfect, and I can work towards improving it and improving myself. I must make the world a better place. If you think about what drives them, they want things to be right. Looking at the blind spots, anger, only because it is wrong to get angry, or wrong in the world, so therefore I get angry. They resent non-compliance. They project anger and faults onto others. So that's part of their blind spots. They value goodness, and they have the virtues of wholeness and serenity. A 1, when they move towards their virtue, they become much more serene, relaxed. It's they need to take that step back, as we've seen earlier. They need to take that step back and let go some of that control to achieve their virtue of serenity. That's it for the gut instincts or the gut intelligences. Once again, if you need to discuss anything that is on here, give me a call, send me a mail, set up a chat. And do you fit into any of these? See you soon.